Let's get cracking. So hello everyone and welcome. My name is Paul Skeldon. I'm one of the editors at Internet Retailing, and I'm joined today on my first webinar of 2021. Very early in the year for a webinar, but I imagine we'll have many to come. I'm joined by Vadim Grigorian from Lunu Solutions. We're going to be talking about cryptocurrencies. Just before we get going with the bulk of the presentation, and some really interesting stuff we've got to look forward to. Those of you that are listening, we're going to try and keep it so that Vadim can do his presentation, and then we'll take questions at the end. But do stick your questions into the chat box as we go along. That way I can just keep monitoring them. If there is anything that does need to be addressed to Vadim at that very moment, I will interrupt him, but I'm going to try not to, because I don't want to interrupt his flow. So there's that. The webinar is being recorded and will be available on Internet Retailing, I imagine within hours, possibly tomorrow morning, for you to download, share, send on again. Anyone who signed up to the webinar will be sent a link with the recording in it, so they can share that with their friends, family, colleagues and loved ones, as we try and push forward the view of cryptocurrencies. A little bit about Vadim. I'm sure he'll introduce himself more fulsomely, but he's the partner and co-owner of Lunu Solutions. He's studied at INSEAD and Harvard Business School. And interestingly, to those of you listening, he has worked in sort of marketing with some big brands, including Diesel and Pernod Ricard. So he gets it from both the technology side and the retailing side. So some very interesting insights. Now, cryptocurrencies all over the news, been all over the news all over Christmas with their rapidly increasing value. I believe the capitalization of cryptos is around about $1 trillion, I think, currently. But it's one of those subjects that some people know a lot about it. Most people have heard of it, but don't really know anything at all. There's some skepticism about it, but personally, I'm a big fan. I think it's an interesting way to add sort of security to how you transact, and it internationalizes e-commerce. So to me, it's a perfect fit really with e-commerce. And I'm intrigued to sort of hear Vadim sell this idea to you, and hopefully it'll at least get many questions in your minds. It may answer some of your questions as well, and hopefully we can see over 2021 a move towards cryptocurrencies. So enough from me. I'm by no means an expert. I'm going to hand you over to Vadim, who is going to talk us through well, I guess, you know, what cryptocurrencies are and why you as retailers should really be taking note this year. So Vadim, over to you.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for this wonderful introduction. And indeed, cryptos are really a hot topic today. And even though this presentation has been conceived specifically for retailers, I think a lot of us are living, or at least will be living in the nearest future in digital currencies, because the future of currencies will be, of course, digital, just as like our seminar that we have now over the web. So I will start sharing my presentation with you. And as you see, the topic is about the future of money and the crypto adoption in retail. And if some of you are not yet convinced that you have to listen till the end of this presentation, I would like just remind some of the facts that we'll be discussing along the presentation, and that might convince you to stay longer. So, so first of all, as I said, digital currencies, even though for some of us they might appear as some kind of vision from a science fiction book, they are not. They're part of our reality. And as Paul mentioned, the total market cap of cryptos has exceeded $1 trillion US, which is quite significant, I have to say. There is more than 100 million crypto holders, at least what research shows us today. According to our estimates, it could be as big as 200 million at least at the moment. And the crypto transactions in retail are already done in billions. And so for many of the retailers that still ask the question whether we should deal with them or not, given the zero risk and super easy implementation, almost like not dealing with cryptocurrencies and not looking for crypto solutions today is, I have to say, quite criminal. And also just a little bit introducing myself a little bit more to add to what Paul said. I have been most of my life on the side of retailers and on the side of brands, such as this huge retailer of fashion, Diesel, and the Stuff International, but also big spirits company, Pernod Ricard. So I understand the challenges that retailers and different businesses face today, and we'll talk about this later on. So just a couple of words for some of you who don't know or have not heard about Lunu, even though who could have imagined that. Lunu is quite famous within the narrow circles, but for those who don't know, Lunu Solutions is this incredible company where I serve as a chief marketing officer and a partner. And our slogan is closing the gap between cryptocurrencies and the real world. And so Lunu creates this kind of ecosystem that integrates the use of cryptos and stablecoins into the real economy in everyday life. Before we start, attacking the real questions of cryptos and the crypto adoption, I really would like to start with the past of money, and would like to invite you to think a little bit about the meaning of money. This quote is coming from a very famous neuroscientist, Antonio Damasio, and he said, money represents the means of maintaining life and sustaining organisms in the world. And what is interesting is that money appeared as this kind of mechanism that allowed us to survive by exchanging energy with the other, and that's why initially a lot of representation of money have been used with kind of food commodities, barley, cacao beans, butter, etc., etc. It's interesting that some of the words that we use today, such as capital, salary, or buck, they all come from the food. And another interesting writer, Kabir Sigal, who used to be a JP Morgan vice president, he said, in order to deal in money, humans must be able to think symbolically. And that's why from these food kind of analogies, we went to a symbolic representation of money. What is interesting is that in front of you, you have this cowrie shell that for more than 4,000 years has been a base for exchange and served as money in a lot of countries, including China. And its value was not based on any intrinsic utility, if you wish, but on the beauty of this object. And it is interesting that intrinsic value has long stopped to be a measure of the real value of money. And at least in the world in which we live in, it is absolutely the case. And, it's quite anecdotal, but, the current US dollar, for example, is not backed by gold or anything like this. and it costs just around 10-12 cents a bill, including $100 bill. So as they say, in God we trust. It's interesting to look at the stone money that are coming from the this island of Yap. I think it's it's called Micronesia, around Australia. And they give us a little bit the insight into the future of money, because these stone money that have been, these huge chunks of stone, and they usually did not actually move, but everybody in the community knew to whom this money, to whom these stones belonged. And of course, symbolically it represents this distributed ledger, which is used by cryptocurrencies today. And of course, since money is fundamentally this mental abstraction of symbolic representation of value, what money is and what it will be can be only limited by our imagination. So, okay, let's go a little bit deeper into the cryptocurrencies, which of course are this abstract representation of money. So what are cryptocurrencies? So it is defined as this digital medium of exchange using strong cryptography, hence cryptocurrency, right? And each transaction is added to a block, which is then added to the end of a chain of blocks, and that's why it's called blockchain, right? And so cryptos such as Bitcoin have these three important uses or characteristics. So first, they're decentralized, so no single individual bank or government has control over it. Divisible, so unlike gold, and that's a big difference between Bitcoin and gold, is that you can split as little as you would like, and you can buy a coffee or you can buy a house, doesn't matter. And then it is open source, so that means that people could look at it and scrutinize it, and hence a lot of security is coming from these principles. And of course, many of you and just myself until several years, we could ask this question: can something as invisible and intangible as cryptocurrencies have value and be this next step of the development of money? And when we think of the value, of the notion of value, I think fundamentally there are two things that should be checked in order to have that. First is the scarcity, and second is utility. And scarcity is quite interesting, that unlike actually even gold, that apparently is in the universe is almost limitless, and we all heard about Elon Musk creating his rockets to bring gold from Mars and from other planets. The Bitcoin, which is the #1 cryptocurrency, has a set cap, and there's exactly 21 million coins that could be minted and no more, and it is limited by the design of the currency. And the second one is the utility. And what is interesting is that of course this divisible nature of cryptos really boosts the transactionability of cryptocurrencies, right? And of course, this utility would be further increased with the crypto adoption of cryptos in retail. So these are quite fresh numbers coming from the 9th of January, just several days ago. So we can see that the total market cap is around $1 trillion. And even though there's like hundreds of crypto coins, let's not forget that top 5 of them account for 90% of the whole market. And it is strongly growing during especially last year. Just in terms of terminology, a lot of people kind of encountering crypto arena would hear the word fiat money, and fiat money fundamentally is this regular money. It could be defined as the government issued currency that isn't backed by any commodity, such as gold, so total fiction. And fiat money is an intrinsically valueless object or record that is, however, accepted widely as the means of payment. And so that for those curious enough like myself, the name is coming from fiat, from Latin, to sell on credit or to trust. Another term that I think anybody dealing with cryptos should understand are stable coins. So stable coins are essentially cryptocurrencies that are backed on a one-to-one basis with some kind of asset. In most of the cases, these are these fiat currencies, such as US dollar or euro or anything like this. And unlike regular money, stable coins do not require a bank account or that you live in a particular geography. So that creates this tremendous opportunity for exchanging them cross border at low cost in just a few minutes. And stable coins are highly regulated to guarantee that they're purchased and redeemed at one-to-one. So normally you need to have some kind of licenses, the issuing company, for example, if we're dealing with US dollar, so the New York Department of Financial Services or US Securities, etc., and the backing funds are held in a special bank account that is constantly monitored and audited. So a lot of you would ask these questions about the legal status of cryptocurrencies. Are cryptos legal or not? I mean, we hear these questions a million of times. And here's the map. So this is the, it is coming from the Law Library of US Congress. Probably it's slightly outdated, but that's the last kind of aggregated information that we have. And as we can see, apart from some of the countries in Northern Africa and in Middle East, most of the countries kind of legalized the usage of cryptocurrencies, and even among the Middle Eastern countries, apparently recently Dubai is opening up or has opened up its usage. What is interesting is that different countries, they categorize differently cryptocurrencies and different activities linked to them in terms of taxation. So for example, in Israel, it is taxed as asset. In Switzerland, smart people, they tax it as foreign currency. In the UK, and I think a lot of you are coming from the UK, so yes, you have to pay a tax on the capital gains. Corporations pay corporate tax, and individuals pay this capital gains tax. So it is more or less as other type of actions, for example, or stocks. So there is no VAT linked to cryptocurrencies. So at least in Europe and in the UK. So European Court of Justice from 2015 ruled that there is no VAT on that, and the UK adopted the same principle. Again, a lot of people ask about how are they kind of legal, money laundering, etc., etc. So please be reassured that cryptos are treated in exactly the same way as other money. And there is so-called anti-money laundering directive number 5. So there were 5 reeditions, and the last one really asked crypto exchanges and this custodial wallet providers, so the ones that kind of where you hold your money, that they go through the same regulatory requirements as banks and financial institutions. So that means that they are responsible for checking the integrity of transactions, checking the kind of the fact that the holders of cryptos, are not terrorists, KYC procedure, etc., etc. And similar things are done in the UK. So the UK FCA has become the supervisor, just as for other type of mining. So, okay, let's now that we understand a little bit, I hope, the definitions of cryptos and stable coins and all of that, let's kind of dive into this emerging landscape of digital currencies. I would like to share with you this kind of vision from the founder of Blockchain Research Institute and also an important personality, the son of this famous professor from the INSEAD, Alex Tapscott. So he said in the year 2030, if we do this right, money, the foundations of our economy and civilization will be unrecognizable. As a society, we have grown so accustomed to the status quo of today's money, fiat currencies issued and controlled by governments and central banks, that we forget money periodically goes through a great upheaval. Indeed, we are on the brink of one of these moments. Money, one of humanity's greatest and most enduring creations, is becoming digital. So that is, if you wish, absolutely the case. And I think that already now we will see it is the case for a great part of population. So the migration to the digital form of currencies is inevitable, and what we see that the coronavirus situation has precipitated the shift already from cash to digital payments in countries such as Germany, that was famous or infamous for, or Italy for that matter, and this brand new landscape is really emerging. So what we see is that governments are gradually losing their monopoly on money and start to engage into the digitalization of currencies themselves, and we see that in this kind of race for digitalization of currencies, there are other players, for-profit companies, that are beginning to issue their own currencies and really kind of injecting themselves into the global economics. Here on this chart, we see different types of digital currencies that exist. So first, we could split them by, these floating currencies and peg, the stable coins. On one hand, and then another type of division could be done, and this is also the terminology that you would hear quite a lot, is about permissionless and permission. So roughly, without going into details, we get kind of more open access coins, and then more control that kind of more based on private blockchains. And most of the central banks' currencies and kind of commercial banks are developed in this approach. So let's look at some of the changes and some of the news that we have seen recently. So first of all, the EU has really jumped in this digital race. They published, the European Central Bank published a big report recently on digital euro, and they announced different principles of the new euro, such as convertibility, accessibility, neutrality, etc., etc. So I would like to invite you to read more. Everything is available online. China's central bank, even though as you have seen from the previous chart, you cannot really use cryptocurrencies, but in reality, they are injecting and creating their own cryptos. And this DCEP currency has been launched already in April 2020 in 4 huge cities, Shenzhen, Suzhou, etc. And it was injected at the rate of 300 million already US dollars, and quite big companies already subscribed and kind of started using these in payments. And again, DCP, so that you know, it means digital currency electronic payment. So again, the primary objective is to conduct payments in these currencies. And I think let's not forget that in general we live in this period of disintermediation in general, and that's why we have companies such as Uber developing really fast and successfully, or Airbnb. And today the time has come for currencies, and digital currencies make it much easier for consumers and businesses to disintermediate the banks, simplifying the systems and kind of getting rid of some of the abuses that they create. I would like to quote here a recent quote from the professor of finance at Stanford, Darrell Duffy, who said, right now digital currencies sound very edgy and alternative style, but it is becoming the mainstream. The largest banks are very aware of this. They're investing in the technology. Banks will eventually either be leading or following, but they will be involved. They cannot avoid it. So, and we see it already with banks such as JP Morgan Chase, the largest US bank, has created GPM coin, their own coin, which is redeemed. It's a stable coin. It's redeemed at 1-to-1. For the time being, the primary users are B2B, banks and brokers and etc. But it is possible that in the future it would be it has become more retail oriented. Another interesting initiative is coming from a company called Finality International. It is a UK-based project that creates digital coin for cross-border transfers. It has been created as a conglomerate, as a consortium of 14 really major financial institutions. I think any single bank is already there, from Barclays, Commerzbank, ING, the Japanese banks, even Nasdaq, the exchange is there. And in their scope is to kind of create these stable coins: Canadian dollar, euro, British pound, Japanese yen, and US dollar. And apparently, pending on the some of the regulatory questions, but it will be launched this quarter already. And when we're moving from banks to retailers, we see that they're not sleeping at all. And you will see and you will hear that in 2-3 years, all of the huge giants of technology will launch their own currencies. We know, or at least there are very consistent rumors that Amazon is developing its own currency. I think a lot of you have heard about Libra. Well, now it's called Diem. Initially, it was supposed to be launched as this brilliant synthetic coin based on a basket of currencies, but now it's launched as again as a stable coin, initially 1-to-1 to US dollar, but then it will be again euro and GBP as well, and I think it will be launched again in the first quarter of 2021, and you can imagine we're gonna have potentially 2 billion of consumers that are joining the digitalization of money. And again, it's a huge opportunity for businesses to and for retailers to use this. And here I would like to cite at the end of this section another billionaire who Of course, he has invested into Bitcoins, obviously, but still, I think that he's absolutely right when he says it is no longer a debate if crypto is a thing, if Bitcoin is an asset, if the blockchain is going to be part of the financial infrastructure. It is not if, it is when. And so every single company has to have a plan now. And that's what I would like to invite you to think. Do you have a plan now? Because the digital currencies are already there. And let's look at how important they are. So the key benefits of cryptos in general for the economy, there are many, and here I would like to cite several. First is efficiency, and of course there's this instant value transfer immediately in the blockchain. There is fairness. We're so fed up with all these intermediaries, like really kind of taking our money on different exchanges here and there, etc. So there's this element of fairness and cutting out these middlemen. Of course, there is a side benefit for the underbanking populations, which again, even in China, we talk about hundreds of millions of people, Africa, etc., etc. So now with the development of 4G and 5G, they could have access to modern banking. Security, of course, because of the decentralized nature of blockchain, the risks of data loss are quite minimum. I mean, you really need to blow up the earth and all the computer systems around the world in order to hack them. The idea of borderlessness, which is kind of, there's no national frontiers for them, and also independence, which we see already in places such as Argentina, where people, kind of prefer Bitcoin to their own national currencies. But the last point here that I would like to make is that the road to widespread adoption of cryptos really lies through the usage in payments. And I believe, and we believe at Lunu, that there is at least 4 big blocks kind of forces that are pushing this frontier: the rise of stable coins, the crypto holder pressure, retailer early adoption, and the existence of innovative crypto payment solutions such as Lunu. So the rise of stable coins, a lot of retailers have been kind of skeptical because of the volatility of cryptos to accept them, and stable coins kind of solve this problem, because there is no volatility in these stable coins. So stable coins kind of combine the benefits of the both, so the efficiency of cryptos, and yet the total absence of volatility. So the total market is developing very rapidly. At the point we talk about 23 billion US dollars. Some of the key coins, Tether, USD Coin, DAI, Binance USD, Paxos, and then the euro stable coin is Stasis. In the UK, there is one again, Binance GBP, Binance GBP. Okay, so when we talk about the crypto holder pressure, I think that we should not forget that the crypto community and crypto holders, they get increasingly frustrated with not being able to spend their cryptos, and this is actually this frustration is at the genesis of the creation of Lunu Solutions, and they're really happy when they're able to spend their cryptos, especially now. I mean, a lot of people gained hundreds, thousands of of dollars, euros, and pounds, and they would like to be able to spend them, but oftentimes they cannot because retailers do not accept them. Even Christine Lagarde, the classics of the classics, she said recently in Financial Times in October 2020, Europeans are increasingly turning to digital in the ways they spend, save, and invest. And what is interesting is that consumers are aware of cryptocurrencies. You know, as much as 3/4, both in France and in the UK, they are aware of cryptocurrencies already. We talk about mainstream consumers. And the numbers of crypto holders are growing dramatically. So if we talked about 35 million in 2018, the last official data by the Cambridge Center for Alternative Finance that is doing annually this research, they talk about more than 100 million people. So these are people who have a lot of money on their hands and they would like to spend and they cannot. So that is exactly what creates this frustration. And we can see that you know, a great deal of these crypto owners are situated in Europe. And in Europe, there is no, apart from Lunu, there is no significant solution for accepting cryptos in retail. So this creates a huge opportunity, of course, for retailers. And as we can see that crypto holders become really influential and large consumer group. And especially so we talk about, you know, again, these are the official numbers that we got from the research, 2.7, 2.6 million. In reality, it's double these amounts. And so for some sectors such as luxury, fashion, travel, gaming, electronics, these customers could represent 20 or even 30% of your target audience. Can you ignore them? I think that's why, and that's what I talk about, the criminal you know, attention to the business. Of course there is COVID, of course there's so many problems and we need to solve this and that, etc. But these are the people that is sitting there that have disposable income and that would like to spend their money and they cannot. You know, this is an interesting piece of research that says that the possibility to pay in cryptos can drive consumers to a particular store or an e-commerce site. 1 in 5 shoppers in France, we have only French data here, but I'm sure it's very similar in the UK, that 1 in 5 shoppers, they say we are ready to go to a particular retailer if they accept cryptos. Wow, that is quite a lot. And of course, despite their differences, you know, in the crypto knowledge and wealth, crypto holders are generally a younger, more dynamic, technologically aware people. So these are not only powerful in terms of their financial assets group of people, but they're also interesting people to add to your brand or to your retailer franchise. So these are very interesting people. By the way, we did quite a bit of research on different typologies. That's the only research and analysis that exists in the market. So if you're interested in that, our sales team would be very happy to provide it to you on an individual basis. So retailer early adoption, and of course, luckily, there is a lot of retailers who already jumped into the wagon and who already accept crypto. So in 2020, according to the official data, there is more than 200,000 companies that accepted cryptos as the means of payment, growing from 2019 data of 150. So there is a dramatic kind of double-digit growth. So let's again, we thought about the benefits of cryptos, for economy in general, but what are the benefits to retailers? Let's be egoistic. Let's think of what are we getting if we're dealing with cryptos. So first of all, it's access to new, younger, more affluent audience that is constantly growing. So that is very, very important. Second is this impact that you can develop, this positive impact you can develop on the level of service by sheer fact that you expand the variety of payment methods. Third is the image. Today, unlike euros, unlike British pounds, unlike yens or dollars, cryptocurrencies are quite image discriminatory. So that means that there is a certain image associated with them. And image is about innovation, progress, as I said, a little bit younger and all of that. So this could be also used. And communication. So in 5 years, when everybody would be accepting, and then everybody has to accept because otherwise it would be deadly for business. Today, when you do it, there is also a lot of attention. So you get additional share of voice just for the fact that costs you nothing, installing a little button in your e-commerce site, accept cryptocurrencies. And I will share with you some of the incredible PR we have got for our clients so far. And so, of course, this year 2000 is quite important in terms of accepting cryptos among retailers. And as we have seen, it has increased more than 40% already. And the last force that drives the crypto adoption, of course, the existence of these crypto payment solutions that are hassle-free, easy to use, cost-efficient, both online and in store, etc. The key here is how to make things invisible, both for retailers and for the customers. There are several solutions that exist. There is BitPay, there is Square, which has not yet really been launched. And in Europe, Lunu is the kind of provider of these services, knowing that BitPay is US based. And of course, a lot of you have heard about PayPal that enters the crypto ecosystem. Let's not forget that even though we consider it as a very positive news for the whole sector, in reality, they don't accept, PayPal does not accept the payments from a third-party wallets. So fundamentally, it is a system of buying cryptos and holding them, or at least if you would like to spend them, you have to exchange them again into the real currencies, etc. So let's talk more about Lunu and its innovative payment solution. So Lunu is a company that is founded in Berlin in 2018. We're based now in 5 different cities, global team. So we have 4 major elements that we offer in our ecosystem. First is our processing service. It's a patented processing service. Then we have Lunu Terminal, which is this absolutely beautiful and gorgeous payment terminal that is coming as if from Star Wars or from other science fiction movies, but it is there and it works. Lunu Widget for online transactions and Lunu Wallet. So how it works? Very simple. Customers, they come with their wallets on their devices. They come either to a shop or to an e-commerce website. They select the product they would like to buy. At the point at the end of the transaction, when they finalize their basket, they select, let's say if it is e-commerce, they select which type of payment they would like to follow. instead of Visa or PayPal, they choose, let's say, Lunu or cryptos, and that's it. So they pay in cryptos, and retailer receives fiat money, so euros, British pounds, etc. The only thing is that we don't take any commission from the customers, from one hand. On the other hand, our processing service is quite unique because it allows for a very interesting decentralized exchange rates to be applied. So basically, we're not imposing our exchange rate, but we're using a kind of market rate, and which is quite important. So the fees for the customers are almost non-existent, and retailer pays only 1% commission to us based on the turnover. That's as simple as this. And so that is how the online checkout flow looks like. You see, you select your card, you select the Lunu Pay, and then you select the different currencies that again, most it's Bitcoin and Ethereum, but again, if somebody insists, we could install other currencies. There is a QR code, and then you flash the QR code with your device, and everything is done very easily and very smoothly. So about our terminal, as I said, the most beautiful and the most efficient terminal that exists in the market at the time being. It is all in one device. Currently, it accepts only cryptocurrencies, but because it is Android system, it accepts only also traditional credit cards. So we're currently undergoing the certification with Visa and MasterCard to accept these cards at the same time. And also you see it has all technology needed for NFC payment systems, Apple Pay, Google Pay, etc., etc. So really, at the time being, yes, you would need to have another device, but in the future, it would be sufficient. And as you can see, it is absolutely gorgeous. Not only that, the design is beautiful, ergonomic, and COVID friendly. You can really avoid putting ugly plastic around these buttons, and use whatever the screen washer. But also, it exists in 5 different skins. And again, it could adapt to a different retail environment and add to the image. Let's not forget that in most of the cases, you know, the experience of consumers at the last moment of transaction is absolutely ugly. We bring beauty and aesthetics to these things. And Luna Wallet, which is the first retail-oriented crypto wallet, it is done with the objective not to hold to your cryptos, but to spend them. The big button is and focused on pay, and everything works again smooth and nice. So just to sum up some of the Lunu's key strengths, yes, it is innovation focused on retail 100%. Again, for retailers, zero crypto volatility, because retailers received fiat money on their IBAN account. They don't deal with cryptos at all. Very intuitive, sleek user interface, which is very important today. Fairness, as I said, decentralized exchange rates, and very fair 1% retail transaction fee. Efficiency, all-in-one POS terminal, instant automatic payment settlements. And also, let's not forget that Lunu is a brand, and we have elegant design that enhances the shopping experience, but also the brand that is built with art and social responsibility at its DNA. And already our approach has convinced retailers and even non-for-profit companies. So this is the quote from the president and co-founder of Courbet, the jeweler from Place Vendôme, who absolutely loved our approach, and they installed both the widget and the payment terminal, and he found that we're the only payment system that actually shares the values of innovation but also social responsibility with them. The press that we received from that action was tremendous. This is just one of them. BFM Business, for those of you from the UK, probably you haven't heard, but this is #1 business channel in France, and it was prime time talking about their innovation and all of that. So lots of interesting PR opportunities. Then another one that I would like to share with you, it's a marketplace selling wine and champagne, and the director of operations, Jean-Christophe, he said the Lunu widget is very secure and easy to install and use, giving access to the best exchange rate at the time of the transaction. The speed of purchase and transaction is one of the primary criteria for customer satisfaction. Well, some praise for Lunu. And what I like is he said, we're really happy with this innovation, which goes in the direction of a 5-star service. So that is what's important. What we create, the user interface, the quality of what Lunu is doing is really 5-star service experience. And again, what we offer to retailers is really to create these promotional campaigns to reach out to the crypto community. Of course, we know them, we know all the channels, how to reach to them, and we create 3 types of campaigns: awareness PR campaigns with leading crypto media such as Cointelegraph or CoinDesk, the banner campaigns with discounts, as you can see here, what we did with this wine marketplace, and the banner campaigns with limited edition. So there are different varieties that we can tailor made for you. And the last but not the least, we also collaborate with non-profit, not-for-profit companies such as TBA21 Academy. And we supported this incredible exhibition and the whole project to save the world's oceans. And we enabled the first case of crypto adoption in the cultural sector. So basically you can donate your money, your cryptos to the good cause, and oceans, you know, we share, all of us. So if you would like to see our experience, you can, you can buy £5 in Bitcoins and just experience this thing. And the final element that I really would like to invite you to experience is we built this user case based on another project called Lunu Artling. It's a collaboration with an artist. We will be doing this annually. And the first one is a collaboration with Laurent Grasso. He's one of the major artists of today, and the message that technology is part of nature. It's called Natural Connection, and we did a series of t-shirts in white and black, female and male, and you can buy them at the Lunu shop that you can see the address here. And by the way, if you install Lunu Wallet, you will get the 50% discount. And experience the smooth interaction of our process. And the last but not the least, I would like to quote, since we talk about art, I would like to quote the artist Pascal Boyard, who said the advent of cryptocurrencies is not just a monetary revolution, it is also a cultural revolution. And really, I would like to invite all of you to join that revolution, because let's not forget, the future of money will be digital. We want it or not. Thank you very much. Here you can see my email address that you can write me if you would like. You can also connect to me through obviously LinkedIn account or otherwise. But I hope that is it. And Paul, I hope also that we have some interesting questions.
Yes, it's an excellent presentation. Thank you very much for doing that. That's taken us right the way through, yes, the history of money, and all the way through cryptocurrencies and what they mean and how we can use them. So that was really interesting. I feel very enlightened now around the whole subject.
Where has been a fintech presentation that is bringing not only the latest data but also some philosophical underpinnings? Because
Absolutely, absolutely. The stone money as well, being a sort of quasi cryptocurrency, is also very interesting, and one that I should be following up. I with my editor's hat on, have a couple of quick questions to kick things off. But the first one really is migration. You've talked about as being sort of inevitable. People are coming down to doing this. Consumers are using them. There is a growing number, several million in the UK, similar number in France, just as a way of examples. What's the sort of time scale on that, do you think? I mean, obviously you can't sort of be that precise, but are we talking sort of, are we going to see a doubling in the number of sort of Bitcoin using consumers this year, or is it something that's going to grow more slowly, more rapidly? What's your feeling on the sort of timeline of adoption by consumers of crypto?
I think the year 2020 has been this kind of Rubicon year. I think that's where things have kind of exit the almost niche area, and when they have become mainstream. I mean, you read about cryptos every day in major newspapers. I know in London subway now you get this crazy advertisement that says, if cryptos are advertised in the subway, that means it has become quite mainstream. So I think that and we have seen the numbers, right? So the market cap of 1 trillion, 100 million of users, at least the official numbers. And when we look at the dynamics of the growth, it is exponential. So I wouldn't be surprised that we would talk about, by the end of this year, we would talk about 1 billion of users of cryptos, especially if all the projects that I mentioned, such as Libra, or DM, as we need to say nowadays.
To start calling it, yeah.
I mean, it's gonna topple things up. It is so efficient, so practical, so kind of instantaneous, and we avoid all these middlemen. I mean, Jesus, a company, let's say in Manchester, could easily trade with any problem with some people in China or in Russia or somewhere, without these triple exchange rates and banks taking their kind of unfair share of things. So I think, if you wish, already the tipping point has been gone through, and 2021 will be the year of acceleration, dramatic acceleration. I think we in Europe, and the UK mentally is in Europe.
In here it still is, yeah.
So I think Europe has been a little bit late in the adoption, but there is no choice. As we have seen, European consumers are #1 in the world already. In terms of owning cryptos, etc. We cannot just let them be frustrated and not use this amazing pool of money. And especially now, I mean, most of the people, if we talked 3 days ago, it would be like tripled their investments. Today, it's more than double, but it's still very good, So what do they do with the excess of money? They would like to spend, buy interesting things. We're so bored in our apartments with these Zooms and everything, and so there's very few European retailers that allow this to happen,
Absolutely.
And nothing, absolutely nothing. It's just a week of work of the Lunu team that comes and implements either widget or this, and it is done. As I said, zero risk with access to incredible customer base.
Well, that was going to be one of my questions, was the sort of practicalities of it. So it's quite easy as a retailer to have this sort of set up and integrated into my existing payment platform. You can simply come in and do it. It's a bit of IT, and I can take crypto payments. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's let's not forget, it is fundamentally it is adding another type of payment to your list. That's it. Because at retailer end, retailer is not dealing with cryptos per se, because retailer would like to receive fiat money. I'm selling this for £1,000. I'm receiving £1,000. That's it. I don't care. He pays with Bitcoin, with with Ethereum, or with Japanese yens. I don't want Japanese yens, right? That's why it is. I receive my pounds or my euros or whatever I would like to receive. So it's the same principle. Absolutely, absolutely the same.
Brings me to one of the questions from our audience, from Laurent Coutier, who has asked, how do you manage high volatility of crypto during the intraday? Do you guarantee the retailer its price in fiat, whatever the significant changes of Bitcoin value might happen? Actually, it was something that I jotted down. How do you manage that sort of volatility and the exchange rate?
The retailer doesn't deal with volatility. That's it. That's it. I'm selling for fiat and I'm receiving for fiat. The volatility, it is at the end of the customer. So customer at the moment of sale, I don't know, he decides to sell his Bitcoins. That's it. That's his, if you wish, it's his problem, or her.
Right. So it doesn't impact the money, the fiat money that's going into the retailer's account.
Retailer receives, that's the beauty. If retailer were dealing with with cryptos, yes, I would understand, but that's exactly the beauty of Lunu Solutions, is that the customer pays in cryptos, retailer receives the fiat money. That's it.
Money. Okay, excellent. Right, we have a few other questions. We've had quite a few about volatility, but we've addressed that. So thank you everyone else who asked that question or similar. Right, that's very interesting and enlightening presentation. Where are we? Let's see. In which countries is Lunu currently available? And in Asia, what are your competitors?
So we're currently focused on the European Union and the UK. So in the UK, we would be operational from the end of February. So we're finalizing some of the details with the this exchange of to the to the GBP, and that's pretty much it. So
Okay.
And in terms of the competitors, as I said, the number one is BitPay. And increasingly, there have been some people based in Singapore, but they kind of a little bit disappeared from the landscape.
Okay, excellent.
The stage of development at which, I mean, there are probably tens of projects now, but at the stage of development of Lunu, there is very, very few projects. I mean, that's why it is quite an innovative area.
Absolutely, absolutely. Excellent stuff. I think we're going to see more of this, aren't we? As it could be something like Facebook's DM. I think we'll get millions of people using cryptocurrencies. Absolutely. Just take something like that where they'll be using it without really thinking about it, suddenly have a cryptocurrency that they then want to spend elsewhere, and I think that suddenly brings it
really have access, as I mentioned, let's say to DM, which is let's say US dollar equivalent. you can easily buy them and exchange in them without being in jurisdiction of US dollar. So you can, in France or everywhere. So which is and this is one of the reasons why the Chinese central bank is so much interested, and that's why they're running in front of everybody else. I mean, they have already done not only the test, but like massive developed technology, developed the infrastructure, and did these massive, I mean, it's not like a little test, it's a massive test because it's about influence, that you could get this digital yuan in a much quicker and easier way than you could get the actual yuan. I mean, try to buy yuan somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in this era of sort of much more international or internationalized e-commerce that's also increasing and growing and will continue to do so, I guess, across the pandemic and beyond, ease of payments is crucial. And I think that's where cryptocurrencies, as you said, come in. I think also when the world opens up and people start traveling again, that adds a whole new sort of impetus to people using crypto wallets on their phones. I don't need to get euros. I don't need to pay to get euros out of a cash point. I can just use my mobile device, its crypto wallet, whichever country I'm in, pay how I want to. So yeah, I think it's I'm excited by it. I think it's a revolution, as you say in one of your last slide there. So that's really good. We're running short of time now, so I'm going to wrap it up there. As I say to all those that are listening, you will get a link to download this again, and do get in touch. I think Vadim's contact details are on the presentation as well, so you can follow that up. I hope that in the next few weeks and months, all retailers will be taking cryptocurrencies. Because I think it's something that we all should be looking at and doing, and it will make life easier for consumers. So all good stuff. So Vadim, thank you very much for a really enlightening webinar. Enjoyed it very much. Thank you everyone else for listening, and it's goodbye from me. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you, Paul, and let's join the revolution.
Let's revolutionize. Excellent. Thank you. Goodbye, everyone. Bye bye.